What about carbon dating? Similar process, but with carbon dating, the time scale is much shorter. Most carbon is C12 because it's got 6 protons and 6 neutrons in the nucleus. There's a variety of carbon called C14. It's produced in the upper atmosphere as cosmic rays bombard nitrogen atoms, convert them into C14, and then C14 will gradually decay back into nitrogen. It has a half-life of 5,700 years. So if you have a chunk of solid C14, you wait 5,700 years, half of it will have decayed into nitrogen. Now, you all have a little bit of C14 in you because you see, we breathe that air. The plants take in the carbon dioxide in the air, and a small fraction of that, 1 atom in a trillion, is C14. And then the animals eat the plants, or we eat the plants, or we eat the animals that ate the plants. Either way, you're getting that C14 in you. So all of you have a little C14 in you. You're all just a little bit unstable. How about that? Now, when an organism is alive, that C14 is decaying back into nitrogen, but you're eating new food and you're replacing it. So the C14 to C12 ratio in you is about the same as is in the external environment until you die. But when you die, you're not eating, you're not breathing, you're not taking in any new C14, and so the C14 simply decays away. And so, while you're living, the C14 remains constant until you die, and then it decays down. And so the idea with carbon dating is you can use it to tell how long ago something died. And it's neat, it's a clever idea. And the interesting thing is it tends to give answers that are pretty consistent with the biblical timescale. Now, it's based on assumptions too, but with carbon dating, when we test it on things of known age, it tends to give sensible answers. It tends to give the right answer. Not always, not 100% of the time, but often. And the interesting thing is we've even tested it on things like diamonds. Diamonds, in the evolutionists' view, are supposed to be 1 to 2 billion years old. But you know what? We found C14 in them. C14, the half-life's 5,700 years. In fact, if the entire Earth were nothing but C14, after 1 million years, you'd not have 1 atom of it left. It decays too quickly. And yet we find it in diamonds that are supposed to be billions of years old. They can't be anywhere close to that. This demonstrates that these diamonds are much, much younger. They're thousands of years old. It's consistent with the biblical time scale. Because the Bible's clear that God created in 6 days, and that was a few thousand years ago. The Earth's not billions of years old, as we've been taught, as we've been led to believe. And there are hundreds of physical processes that limit the age of the Earth to much less than the secular time scale. And we see the secularists need the billions of years to make evolution sound plausible. Not that it really would be anyway, but they need that.
Question I had, you were talking about the half-life of C14 being 5,730 years. 5,700 years. How do we know that if we weren't around for 5,700 years to measure that?
Good question. What we can do is we can measure the rate at which a little bit of it decays over a year.
Oh, and then you calculate what percentage decayed, and then, okay,
Yep.
all right, that answered my question.
Okay,
Thank you.
good.